ODIAX. ODIAX. Oh my gosh, I have been wanting to talk with this guy for a while now. Well, I've actually talked to him before. I've known him for, well, technically we've known each other for years, going back. I met you when you were like still in high school, actually.
Yeah, like 10th grade.
When I first met you, yeah, you were just like this cool kid that would like hang out with like some other people that I knew and so forth. But so you are now a musician, like a music producer, is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And what genre would you say kind of like your music falls into?
Dubstep, like left field bass music, anything bass music wise, pretty much dubstep would be the genre.
With kind of like a little bit of like a trippy feel to it sometimes?
Yeah, most definitely with the left field bass and the super weird. I like the psychedelic weird shit. Experimental bass.
A little bit of kind of like some squishy kind of sounds going on in there. Yeah, like, is that the right word to use?
Yeah,
or something
like squelchy, squishy, whatever. All of it's good.
You kind of seem to have invented your own little kind of twist on things, right? Like your music is like when you put out a new sound, like I always think like a new song, I'm like, yeah, this definitely like this is definitely ODIAX.
Oh yeah, just wait until you hear the next few. I got a bunch and working on like an album right now.
Oh yeah.
And probably won't be out till like next year, but been starting a new song every day for the next 100 days. Started about 10 days ago.
Oh and
so I've just been working my ass off and cranking out the tunes.
That is very ambitious.
So that's my goal for now.
Mm-hmm. And getting the experience in your brain, you know, your subconscious and stuff, being able to kind of like, because it's like, I've used this analogy before, like playing basketball, right? It's like you practice dribbling, you practice shooting, you practice everything, but then when it comes time to actually play, then it's just kind of like you don't think about those things. Those are just natural, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like when you're using the software, it probably just feels
a lot more natural, right? Yeah. Especially like now compared to like even a couple of years ago, just where I'm at. And just I used to get into those like writer's block, but then you just learn like you can't be scared to write bad music. Not every day can be your best day writing music, so you just have to go with the flow and keep going. My whole thing is like I start more and more projects if I get stuck, because if I get stuck on like the same sound in the same project, then I get stuck in those loops and but when I go and refresh on a new project and start that new one, then it brings those other ideas back to this other project.
Sometimes when because like I like to write and so forth, and like you use the word writer's block, which is cool because it's very similar actually, right? Like you're creating where like you have total ownership over the notes, over everything. You can change it, you can, you know, and it's the same thing with writing, like you choose the words, you choose whatever. But yeah, sometimes though you won't notice imperfections or things until you've like kind of slept on it a little bit or something.
Yeah, exactly. Your ears get like that ear fatigue. Like if I work on music for like 5 hours, then I'll have to go back the next day to make sure, like double check, just because you get that ear fatigue.
Right.
Just from repetitive listening to music.
And it's crazy, like just using writing as an analogy, again, you can find even in like professional publications and stuff, there will still be like a misspelled word here and there or something, or like I've written things out where I've read it over so many times, but then like I'll go back later and I'll read it and I'll be like, wait a second, like that I repeated that word or something.
Oh,
like
most
that.
definitely.
But it's like you didn't notice it at the time. Like it's so weird. Like we think that we're consciously in control of everything, right?
Yeah. Most definitely.
It's not exactly the case. And as you guys can tell, my friend ODIAX here, from like the tie-dye and all that kind of stuff, he has a very open, expansive view of mental awareness, I guess.
Yeah, mental health.
Yeah.
I have a different way of looking at it. I have a kind of like against pills and all that stuff, against lean, all that stuff. I do like mushrooms. So I just call it natural medicine. Helps me with my anxieties and stress, and like things like ashwagandha, and there's a bunch of even like non-psychedelic mushrooms that I take, like lion's mane, and just all those good stuff.
So lion's mane, like, can you get that, like, just at an herbal shop or something?
Yeah, you could buy that. There's like a farmer's market in Ogden.
Oh, yeah.
Misfit Mushrooms sells them. One, just a local lady, Olivia Matchett. She's out there killing it.
Yeah.
But just pretty much anybody. You can order them in from like North Spores and grow your own. But yeah, that's pretty much what I did, and I made a lion's mane tincture.
Okay.
Yeah, it just helps with like prevent Alzheimer's and helps with your cognitive thinking and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there hasn't been like over the decades that much like scientific research around like mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah, they like paused it all in like the 80s just because of the whole
stigma.
pharmaceutical market taking over and the whole war on drugs. But ultimately, I feel like it's way healthier for you. It's coming from the earth, straight from the earth's energy, and it completely heals and transforms mind. Not only just saying this, it's like proven scientifically to rewire your brain and your neuros and all that good stuff.
Yeah, like from a research perspective, like especially for some people, the idea of like microdosing can help with depression.
Yeah, I microdose every other day.
Yeah.
Take like 0.25 of mushrooms. Don't ever fill it. It's just a whole like come with the stress relief, boost of energy in your day. Like sometimes I have a problem with my mental health, a little bit of depression. I'm sure everybody has their little bit of slides every once in a while. So that helps me not go as in big of slides and help myself come out.
It's kind of funny because the first interview that I did for YouTube, it was just like this spontaneous thing where, well, okay, actually, sorry, let me take just a second and give a little bit of a backstory if I can. My friend Cameron, aka Sear, aka Buck 7, who was the guy that I was telling you about. He called me up one day and he was like, you should interview people, like you're good with talking to people and blah 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 or whatever, and so I'm like, really, I should just do interviews? He's like, yeah, you should interview people. And so I'm like, okay, I'll think about it or whatever. And then I was hanging out with my friend Trevor. He had just performed at the loading docks.
Yeah.
And then after that we were sitting there talking and I'm like, well, do you want to do an interview? Like, I'll just interview you. And he's like, yeah, I'm down.
Hell yeah.
I'm down. So then we did it, and it was just like a pretty short interview, but it was just like, and I mean, I had no idea what I was doing, or I still don't. I just turn on the camera and go.
That's what we love to hear. Out there getting it. Just the whole thing is like, you only get this life once. Like, go out there and meet all these people and interview these people. I mean, that can bring so much light to your life and so much open of mind and awareness to different cultures and different music and all that. Everybody has a different way of living. We're all the same in the end of the day, but we all have our different ways of living and different ways of doing things. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is awesome about it, going out and interviewing people. And I think just keep growing it. It's going to be huge, dude.
Well, I mean, when I started doing this and I started realizing this was going to be like a thing, like you were one of the first people that came to the back of my mind, just because like you have such a cool musical style where you're. Okay, walk me through when you're sitting there and it's just like a blank slate, right? And you're like, I'm gonna make a song. Walk me through the process. Like, what happens? What goes on?
So most of the time I have a template set up already in when I open Ableton Live. I hop up in there. I start with my drums and then I go from there. Start with my drums, get those all situated. I feel like if your drums aren't hitting very well, then the song just not going to hit very well.
So that's kind of
like
the
EDM music, at least.
So that's kind of like the skeletal structure that you build everything else on.
And then from there, like I'll re-edit the drums later as I'm making the sounds, and I go in like Serum and Vital, and I'll do a lot of like make sounds in there, but then I'll like do a lot of resampling to audio, and then I'll like stretch the audio even more. So that's where I get the crazy, super crazy
body
sounds.
Language in there too.
Get those super like wide sounds. And you just keep like stretching, and like there's so many things you can do with the audio sample once you get in there. Just like makes dings and pops and whistles and all that crazy stuff.
And like literally, like I know a guy who he took a sound from and I thought it was really cool. Like, I don't think he even released the song, but he took a sound from like the countdown of like the first rocket launch to like the moon or whatever, space or whatever.
Yeah.
And like just like the sound of the guy just like all serious, just counting down like 10, 9, 8 or whatever. and it was just like so epic, just because like you knew that it was the history behind it and everything else. So I don't know, he kind of built a song around that. It was just kind of cool.
Same. I mean, everything's sampling these days. I mean, you can take a sample and completely flip it and make it into something else. I mean, it's all just there's no rules with music. I feel like people get so hung up in like, I mean, there is certain rules, like when you're following your keys and your chords, obviously those got to be right, but everybody gets so wrapped up in these things, and I just feel like I just wing it, and that's where I have the most fun, is just have a bunch of happy accidents. Obviously I kind of get the gist of what I'm doing, but I just like send it in there and have a good time. And when I try and like make a certain sound or like a certain kind of thing, I find myself getting more of that writer's block and frustrated because I'm not getting the exact result that I was looking for in my head, instead of just like letting my head take over the creativity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's just like what we were talking about with like how I don't plan out interviews or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because if I did, then it would just be this structured, just like, okay,
Same
what's
thing.
my next question, you know?
Yeah, it'd be the same thing over and over too.
Yeah. But with this, it's just like, just sit down, just naturally talk.
Authentic.
Yeah, it's just like, I like it, you know? It's pretty cool. What you got eating over here?
Got some
Drinking?
Gold Peak sweet tea.
Yeah.
Sandwich for the lady and some cookies.
Hey, nice. So you're bringing that back?
Yeah, I'll take that back to my lady.
Okay. That's cool. She'll appreciate that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure. She'll appreciate that. What I was starting to say about my friend Trevor earlier was we were talking about how he got into doing hip hop in the first place.
Yeah.
And it had a lot to do with psychedelics. And I mean, now he's really into how can I put it? He's really into spiritual stuff and everything else, you know. And but he got his start at parties. He'd like take psychedelics and I guess just start like rapping or whatever. You know?
That's intense.
Yeah, like it's pretty cool, and he's actually really super talented. Like it blows me away what some people can do, like especially like freestyling and that kind of stuff, where like people I've gotten to know that just in an instant you just like, hey, freestyle, and it just boom, it just like comes out or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But that's kind of it goes to what we were saying before about like your subconscious mind, right? Like once you're just like, it's like putting money in the bank, right?
Exactly.
It's like when you're making a song every day, you're like, it's money in the bank that you can draw out later, right? It's that experience, it's that like trying new things and being creative.
And all that different emotion that you're going through. Every day's different with you. With me personally, I'm a little weird. Got my emotions go up and down, so kind of send it sometimes, and sometimes I'm a little down, but every day if I just get in there, that's what helps me the most with all that, is like just staying proactive and staying busy. I feel like when I allow myself to like sit on my phone all day and those types of things, that's when I feel the most like low in life. And so that's why I like making music so much. It just allows me to express myself in a new way that I've never allowed myself to before. I used to actually want to do like hip hop music, believe it or not. I used to like freestyle all the time. My buddy Kool-Aid, he raps. Y'all should check him out.
Okay, spell that. Is it just like
Koolid?
Is there like a
just normal
dash
Kool-Aid
in there or anything? It's just one word.
I think actually he's going by Christian Harris now on his music. Okay. Christian Harris.
Okay. But then people can also try and find him under Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Like some of his other.
I'd just look up Christian Harris. I forgot that he switched it up, but.
Okay. Yeah, it gets a little bit confusing when
I actually switched mine up.
Oh, well, okay.
Well,
can I ask, what were you before ODIAX?
Yeah, I used to go by Dabbing Cabin.
Oh, well, I knew that, but I didn't know that was your, because I knew that was like on Facebook and everything else.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that was your first. It makes sense that it was your first music, name and stuff. But
I just felt like that was like kind of like an old me. I've done so much growing and changing since then that like I'm just a whole completely different person mentally and spiritually, and I don't go to church or anything. I'm not religious, just like my own spirituality and my own. I just believe that we all are our own energy and we all sacrifice like our own gods in our own bodies. Not that like we're over a god over anybody but ourselves. It's just the energy, and that's just what I believe.
Yeah,
I believe in energy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think when it comes to God, what I believe is that God works with each individual on their own basis.
Exactly.
Their own. It's like I don't have any kids, but I have a lot of younger brothers and younger stepsisters and stuff, and everyone is a unique individual, right?
Exactly.
And it just makes sense to deal with them on their own in their own individual way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for some people, that's going to be like a structured religious thing that they go to every Sunday or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
For other people, it might be going out into the mountains and, you know.
Yeah. None of it's right and none of it's wrong. I mean, I feel like as long as you're not harming people and you're just having a good time and you're happy, that's all that truly matters.
Yeah, and growing, and because also, like, we don't know what we don't know. You know, you don't know that you don't know it.
Yeah, exactly.
have you ever wondered about, like, the multiverse and different things like that? Like 'cause that's an actual, like, scientific thing now. They're saying that there's
I think it's
a
deep.
good chance.
I think that, like, I don't know. I feel like the aliens don't fuck with us in, like, a way because we're not spiritually aligned here. We're so worried over these problems and always, like, fighting each other instead of, like, loving one another. I'm guilty of it myself. Like, I've been there, done that, and, like, still working on it. But I just feel like that's why they're so much more spiritually aligned with the whole thing and the whole cosmos and all that, and we're just not quite there. And that's why I feel like they're growing more. I feel like there's other universes for sure. I mean, we're this little piece of dust floating around pretty much. And
it's all relative too, because
you
like,
see those pictures they took as well?
Oh, no, there's some new pictures of space?
They just took like some, like, I don't know exactly how many, but it is super far away and like they're super crisp. Like huge. It's just huge galaxies and clouds and crazy. I wouldn't say clouds, but they're like winds is what they were calling them.
Okay.
That they could see, and it's pretty crazy.
It's all relative though too, isn't it? Because okay, when you're just a little child, looking outside, just like looking out the window or whatever, because like maybe your parents are, they don't want you just going out there on your own, like you run into the street or something. But when you're like a really young kid, you just look out there and just like the world just seems like such a big place, right?
Yeah.
But that's just this little planet, this little, Carl Sagan, I think, called it the pale blue dot, right? Because it's like because they sent out into space this, I don't know exactly what it's called, but basically a little ship, right? And then they had it, once it got past like Jupiter or something, they had it kind of turn the camera around and take a picture, and then like send that to Earth. And then when the picture arrived, that was the first time that we had gotten like that perspective of things and seeing the Earth from that distance, and it was just this pale blue dot.
Yeah.
It was just like,
it looks wild.
Yeah.
That's one of my dreams, to go to space one day.
Oh man, you know what?
So sick.
You might be able to, because like with technology, the rate that it's growing at and stuff. And you're still pretty young. Wait, how old are you?
24. Just turned 24 last month.
You're 24 already.
Yeah, time's flying, dude.
Man.
I can't believe
that
it.
That makes me feel like super old.
Graduated high school in like 2016. And here we are.
Oh my gosh, that's right. That was that long ago. Holy cow.
Yeah, time is flying.
2016. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, but let's see. I was trying to say something about space, or about like being with it being relative, right? So like, when you get older and then you like look up in the sky and you're like, wow, like the universe is like so big, right? But what if our whole universe is just itself just a pale black dot somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you could look outside of it and see all the different universes.
Outside of the universe?
Yeah, if you could see like our universe just over in some corner somewhere or whatever, and you got like all these other whole universes. I mean, why not, right? Like if one universe can exist, then why can't there be more universes existing?
No,
right?
I watched this video, I'm not sure how accurate it was, just on YouTube, just about that, how it says that pretty much that there is more universes, and like it's like a metaverse pretty much I can't remember what they called it. Not a metaverse, I was wrong.
No, I think
I can't remember the exact name for it. It was like multiverse or something.
Like basically multiverse.
Watch this huge video. I'm not, but like I said, we don't even know. Like that's just prediction.
Mm-hmm.
But from what all they know is that like the universe is constantly expanding.
Yeah, it is expanding, and I mean we're pretty sure that like this universe started out as just like this tiny little, like all the energy in the whole universe started out in just this tiny little singularity, they call it, that's like I think smaller than an atom or something.
Yeah.
like the size of maybe like smaller than an electron, probably, just like this tiny thing, just all, and then instantly it just like bam, just it went faster than the speed of light initially.
Yeah.
Because we're like, well, that's against the laws of physics. There were no laws of physics yet.
Yeah.
The laws of physics came out of that.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
they descended from that.
All the energy from that one. Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
It's so, I don't know. It's so hard to say like what is this? It's
Mm-hmm.
like we're just here on this big old floating rock, and we're
Yep.
in this flesh suit, meat suit, and with bones, and have this energy in us that makes us ourselves. And I don't know. It's so. There's no really answer to it. I don't think we'll ever know in our lifetimes. I think it's
Maybe
just
not
like
in this lifetime.
I also don't think. I feel like I don't think this is the end of our lifetime. I feel like this is just the end of this cycle when you pass.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the same thing. I forget who said it, but energy can't be destroyed, just transferred into something else. I think it was like Albert Einstein or something like that. Can't remember.
No, yeah. In fact, that goes all the way back to like Newton and stuff, and then like everyone, like that's still like modern science still says, yeah, you know, like it can't be destroyed.
Kind of like what Nikola Tesla, he was on like pulling energy straight out of the air and all that. Like, I just feel like if he was alive today, it'd be a whole game changer. Like this, what he was, I don't know, what he's going through, the quantum flux field and all that. It's a whole different things that we still aren't even understanding.
And how many brilliant people have lived their lives though in like, let's say, third world countries or something, where their main concern was like what to eat or whatever, but like if they had been privileged like we are here in the United States and
very
stuff,
privileged,
the internet and everything else, whatever, like how many people would have been, because you figure billions of people, right? I think 100 billion people, if you count like all of humanity going back to like cavemen and that kind of thing, like 100 billion people I think is what they estimate have lived, like you know, Homo sapiens. And to bring up my friend Trevor again, we were talking over, I was visiting him a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how we take so much for granted because like, for example, winning the lottery, right? You're like, man, if only I could win the lottery, then all my problems would be solved, or something like that, right? But then I was like, you know what? It's all relative, because if you go back in time before man could use fire, right? When man learned how to harness and use and create fire, that was a lottery.
Exactly.
Like for humankind, that was like this lottery that put them a step above everything else. The will, another lottery.
Just all that crazy stuff.
And if you think about it, now here we are with cell phones and electricity and all this stuff. It's like we're sitting on a pile of lotteries that humanity has won.
Oh yeah.
And we get to just like sit on top of that right now.
It's like literally everything. I mean, I started doing this thing actually just a couple days ago, where you just like write down every day 10 things you're grateful for, and then you go back and then you say why you're grateful for them, and then you read them to yourself, either out loud or just to yourself, and then you say thank you 3 times after, because you really don't realize how much, like, even just like simple, people don't have shoes, people don't have socks, and people take this for granted every day, and they think like that these are things that are just automatically came to them, but all that came from another person putting in the work to get there and get that. So it's all you got to be grateful for everything. Even myself, like, I have so much work to do and keep on working and growing on it, and just realizing, like, the other day I was like, geez, I just want to make more money at my job. Like, I've been investing and doing my thing, but just want to make more money now. And instead of like thinking about it like that, I got to think and be more, once you start to be more grateful for your money that you do have and the things that you do already have. So I have like tons of stuff. I already have my whole music studio, everything in my music studio, keyboard, DJ equipment, and just like things that other people don't have or will never have. And I'm over here complaining about these little stupid things like that I even have the opportunity to go work. Some people don't even have the opportunity to work. They just can't. They just all kinds of different reasons. Legs don't work and just like never know what could happen. And like just the opportunity to wake up every day is what we need to be grateful for, and realize that our energy is what we make it. And if we believe in things, then that's the things that are going to happen. And like it's almost like even with like if you're talking bad about other people, like that affects your life way more than it affects theirs. Like that doesn't affect them at all, but you talking bad about other people or like negatively or something, or like criticizing someone, judging people, then that just reflects on your own soul and brings your own soul down.
Yeah. And I mean, it's easy to get frustrated with other people. And it's hard to remember and to keep in mind that like they are the product of their life experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Their upbringing, what they were taught, what they were, what they take for granted, everything else. And their thinking is imperfect because we're all of us are stupid. Yeah. We're just a bunch of stupid people, stupid humans just trying to make sense. It's like when we were talking about music, right? Yeah. And how we can kind of like scientifically break down music, but science didn't invent music. Science didn't invent art.
Yeah, most definitely not.
It can try to understand it.
Yeah.
But that's the best that it can do. It's like the best chess players in the world can come up with like moves or whatever that defy like the rules of like this is how you're supposed to play chess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, and we have supercomputers now that are based on like neural networks where they teach themselves, like computers that teach themselves. And they learn from playing chess over and over and over and over. And then they
like
just
the AI.
Yeah, they get better and better and stuff. And they can beat any human out there, like any grandmaster, anything like that. Like it's gotten to a point where it's just like ridiculous. Where like it's a resource now where a grandmaster or something will like turn to a chess program, a chess computer to be like, okay, let's see. I need it to analyze this position and tell me what I did wrong here, because I can't see it. I know, well, what mistake did I make? Why did I lose this? And then the computer goes through and looks at it. But the thing is, though, that like the computer will make moves. I don't know if you know how to play chess or not.
Yeah. It's been a while, but I do.
Yeah,
most definitely.
There was I was watching this grandmaster on YouTube break down on the chess.com YouTube channel. Break down this game that two computers played against each other, and both computers are better than any human that's ever lived, right? Yeah. But like three moves into it, one of these computers makes this move where it like sacrifices its bishop for no apparent reason. And they looked at that, like this is a grandmaster looking at that, and he's like, this is crazy. But then he says, but this computer went on to win the game because of that move.
Yes.
Where it's like looking so far ahead and
20 moves, 30 moves ahead.
Yeah, and just like it was able to basically like I don't know, I would have to like show you the video or something, but this guy, like the whole video, he's just blown away. He's just like, man, I can't believe that like this actually worked. But the thing is though, right, is that like let's say that like a chess master had like a chess school or something, right?
Yeah.
And one of his pupils made that move.
Yeah.
That pupil would have been told, no, you got to look at the board before you make a move. Let's take that back, and this is how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is so symbolic of like society and culture and stuff, right? Is they're like, no, okay, let's.
It's almost
take a
like
step
that.
Back. You're
that closed-minded way of thinking.
Yeah. It's like there's so much we don't know, and if someone else might have something figured out, then who are we to say that they don't have it figured out?
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah. It's just completely crazy. But with the music idea, though, okay, because there's science and art are like different things because they come from different ways of processing information, right?
Yeah.
So how would you describe your experience getting into the art of like producing music? Like going back to like when you were a child, like music and your experience.
When I was a child, I listened to a lot of music. Listen more like Linkin Park and Red Hot Chili Peppers, stuff like that. Just like stuff my parents would put me on, and stuff with that I pretty much listened to.
Yeah.
I still listen to that, and I just feel like I'm not sure how I've always wanted to do music. I've always like wanted to do something bigger with my life than just like sitting around and doing a normal job and all that. I just want to experience a new excitement in life, and I feel like music is the thing that brings me that. I'm not sure exactly how I got to producing music. I pretty much just started going to like raves and stuff, but before that I used to rap with my friends, but nothing serious, just freestyling, putting on a beat and like smoking weed and rapping the beats, just fucking around.
Yeah.
But then I just moved to more like the making the beats and the structure. I just feel like that's more what I like to do. My voice isn't the best. I mean, I'm sure I could get down on some raps, but not the best for rap, at least in my opinion. So I just decided that's not the way I want to pursue it.
So using the computer to like piece it together.
Yeah, just the whole electronic scene is what I like. Just like bringing people up. There's a lot of positivity, and just like the whole thing is just like around peace, love, unity, and like respect, and just like it's pretty much what I try and live by. Obviously, I have slips in life and things happen, but I feel like that's the whole reason I'm into the making that kind of music, just from going to raves and shows when I was younger, and just evoluted into that.
So learning how the music is produced.
Yeah.
Does that change, like let's say you go to a show or a rave or whatever, does that change your view of like
almost definitely.
Yeah.
I'll be like in the show, I'll be like, I don't know, sometimes you just like pick apart the music when you're in there just because you're so used to doing it yourself, and you're like, not saying it's bad or anything, you're just like, there's that kick sounds a little weird right there or something. You just notice stuff more when you're actually producing, and like, I don't know, I think about it a lot more deeply, and like think about it, what kind of layers they're using. And like my biggest thing is like kind of go and listen to like the hit songs and what made them that hit. I mean, there's some songs that just like one vocal in it is made it the hit, and people just caught that vocal and it's taken off. There's a bunch of different stuff. It could be your bass line. It just all just depends. Pretty much just like what I trying to do is just like bring a new sound that people haven't heard.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job of that.
I'm trying to.
Your music is so dope.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. My goal with music is to eventually be playing music festivals, but I also don't want to have to rely on music to live. Kind of music I make, like, can get huge and make a bunch of money, but it's not really too much crazy money in it. So I'm just in it for the fun. And honestly, I like a lot of the people that tour paying to go. They're paying more for their like travel and expenses. So it's more of just like for the experience in my life.
But it could go wherever it goes.
No, most definitely.
Who knew like that Bitcoin was gonna like take off, right?
Dude, I got faith in Bitcoin. I'm a crypto fiend.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Okay. So you. Now, I mean, it's grown to the extent that it's not going to be able to multiply as much as it did initially.
Yeah, I think. Here's the thing: if you just go look at the charts of the crypto, like.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like all that shitty shit, but like all the like Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the good stuff, the big good ones, they're going up. Like if you look at the chart, they all have corrections, but the chart's green. I mean, and the same thing. I feel like people are so skeptical on it. It's like the same kind of people who were skeptical on the internet back when I was first born, and people got rich off the internet that believed in it, invested in it, and the people who didn't believe in it, they are kind of doing the same thing, wishing they would have invested. So that's my opinion on like crypto right now. Is like,
and I agree with you. The thing is, though, you also have to be kind of wary because, like, especially there are people taking advantage of like old folks, right? Because
all the scams and stuff.
Well, yeah, and even though like if something could even be like a legitimate company, but they're like, oh yeah, invest in crypto. That's what all the kids are doing, or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
And then like older people are like, oh okay, yeah, I'll take my savings and put it in that. But the thing is though that it's not going to be Bitcoin. It's not going to be any of the, you know, it's going to be something that someone else came up with that's crappy, that's never going to take off because it doesn't. Yeah, they're just getting people to buy it.
Yeah, it's called like rug pulls is what you would call it. So
Yeah.
people like, they hype people up and get them all this hype, and then they'll buy into the coin, get a bunch of people to buy it, and then they'll liquidate the whole coin.
Like artificially building it up and just
Yeah, people are getting
so
like,
bad.
I mean, people are getting like prison sentences for doing it, or at least, I don't know about prison sentences, but they're for sure going to court for it, and like it's just scamming people essentially.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy, but it's a crazy world we live in because it's like the best of times and the worst of times.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like this right here, this I'm assuming was refrigerated, right?
Yeah.
Like kings, okay, kings did not have refrigeration back hundreds of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Kings. And you can just go to Subway and buy something that's just refrigerated, just take it out, and of course it's refrigerated. If it wasn't, you'd be like, why isn't this refrigerated, right?
It's all warm.
Yeah, it's like all warm, whatever. But kings didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
They didn't have, like, okay, on your sandwich there, right? Like there's spices. There's like, you know, maybe you put salt and pepper. Let's say, okay.
Yeah.
So pepper was considered like one of the most valuable things because it's like, oh, you can add this to food in addition to salt, and it like makes it taste really good or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, pepper for a while was even like the currency and stuff. Like it's crazy, but now you can be like, what do I want tonight? Do I want Chinese food? Do I want Mexican food?
Oh yeah, literally
Do I want a
everything.
burger?
I mean, that's why you just gotta be grateful for it all. I mean, there's so much. It's all, especially here in America, and like, just go watch, like, I watch like this guy goes around to like tribes and stuff in like other countries, third world countries. They don't even have internet, no phones, nothing. They're walking everywhere, like walking to get their water, to get their food, just like to eat at night. And everybody over here is just like, so, not everybody obviously, there's a lot of great people, amazing people, but there is a lot of people that are so wrapped up in thinking they're so much better than others because of materialistic things. But in all, the end of the day, we only get one promise in life, and that's that we die. So why not make it the best for yourself and for everybody around you?
And what matters really at the end of the day is people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you could have all the physical objects in the world, and it's not gonna. I mean, even if you think about it, why do people want status symbols? Because they think that that's gonna make other people care about them.
Happiness, and bring that. I think it brings them like joy. It's pretty much like
But
boosting
it's like
the
a
ego.
counterfeit. It's like a counterfeit, right? Because what they really crave, what they really want, is for other people to love them and care about them.
Yeah.
But they're too insecure to come out and say that. So they're like, okay, if I get this status symbol, then I can get what I really crave.
Yeah.
But they might not even realize they're doing that.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, that's why if people just freely offer love to each other, then it's like we can just bypass all the crap, right?
Exactly.
Just love and accept people and realize that, you know, that people are going to be have problems and, you know, weaknesses, and not necessarily be logical or reasonable.
Absolutely.
But you just got to love them anyway, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and try and see where they're coming from. But yeah, a lot of times, and I feel like I'm doing too much of the talking. Wait, okay. I want to get back to your music, because like Mother Nature has some ideas right now about. Of course, we can always go inside if we needed to. Like we could just like walk in there.
Yeah.
But with your music though, when you sit down, how does that feel to just have like this blank screen in front of you? It's not the blank screen. Like I picture you just bringing up the program, right?
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier, right? But you were saying how you put down the drum beat, and then I'm assuming, does the bass come in?
Then I write like a sub bass, kind of just like for now, or 808, whatever you want to call it, and then I go from there. Then I'll like kind of write a rhythm with a different, like more synths bass, and then I'll go and make the sub kind of follow the synths more, and get that movement through there.
Okay.
But I pretty much go bass, so side chain's always there just because you want to side chain all your drums to your subs and elements so your drums come through. Otherwise, your drums will just sound muffled and such.
Is making music kind of like a form of meditation?
Yeah, I'd say that's my biggest stress reliever in life, and the way that I get the most escape in my mind.
You kind of get to have your own world.
Yeah.
Where you get to express yourself.
So when you're like in there, nothing else, you're not worried about anything else but what you're into right there. Like that's why when I work on music, I try and turn my phone away. Obviously it still goes off and still look at it, but it's a huge problem for me with that is like just like I'll get so wrapped up watching like Reddit videos or something stupid in the middle of music, and I'll just like, that's why I try and keep my phone like upside down so I can't see it. But I've been doing a lot better. Took my screen time down from like 7 hours to like 3.5, so I'm doing good.
That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, gosh, we just live life through our phones. But I saw like you posted earlier about like you were up in the mountains today, right?
Yeah.
And you took like a really good picture. I like screenshotted it. It was just like so nice. It like, I don't remember if it was a sunset or what it was, but it was like just this beautiful picture.
It was just the nice view of it was like kind of sunsetting a little bit, but with the clouds, with the sun setting a little bit below the clouds, so it looked pretty cool. It was nice. I like the picture.
Do you like to get out into nature a lot?
Yeah, that's my huge thing. I love to like go mushroom hunting and stuff.
Like wild stuff?
I just like go around and pick and take pictures. I've done it a lot more last year. I haven't done it, only done it a couple times this year. I only found some like basic ones up there, but I don't really ever never found any psychedelic ones or anything. Some like for sure like culinary and gourmet mushrooms that you could eat that are good for you and stuff like that. But most of the time I just like enjoy doing it because I like being surrounded with the nature. It's like so peaceful. I feel like we're too distracted and like I feel like we're so mean to nature when that's literally what's keeping us alive. Without like nature, we wouldn't have any oxygen for humans to be here. And the humans are, I feel like, kind of taking it for granted. Another thing we're kind of taking it for granted is just like everything around us is these trees and all this, like it doesn't need us here, we need it to be here. So I feel like we just have to learn to be more respectful for it. And I don't know, I have so much fun in the nature. I love hiking and doing all that good stuff.
Did you know Mitch? Well, I don't want to use anyone's last name just because like it's going up on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He went to Woods Cross. He worked at McDonald's for a while, but a total hippie.
Yeah, I don't think I know.
Oh, you didn't? Oh man. Well, he's like living up in Oregon now or whatever, but he like hits me up from time to time. But yeah, shout out Mitch. Yeah, well, like what you were saying though reminds me of the stuff that he told me when this was going back to like 2015 or something. When I first met him, we had like a lot of good conversations about his thinking is very much like on your same wavelength.
Yeah.
And he, it's so. Yeah, are you still in touch with very many of like your high school? How would you describe your high school experience? It
was all right. I did a little high school a little differently. I mean, I went through my troubles, and for sure when I was younger, I went to a few group homes and all that good stuff. Just got into my legal trouble, I would say. I was for sure a troublemaker when I was when I was younger.
Yeah.
So then I got the option to go to my senior year or not. So I decided not to go because I was already there. I was already had enough credits and stuff. So I'm staying home.
Wow, that's a
so I wasn't very fond of, I would say, the environment around here. I smoked weed in high school, and it's a very judgmental environment. Not saying that I should have been smoking weed in high school, for sure. Slowed my my mental health and growth of just like my overall life
did you
down.
skateboard? Like, I don't think I've seen you
I
skateboard.
rode like pedal bikes and stuff,
Okay.
BMX bikes, but
I was gonna say, I
not
never
too
seen-
much in high school even.
Like, I would see Cade skateboarding. He was obviously like
Yeah.
professional level, like like
Getting it.
yeah, like it blows me away what some people can freaking do. Like we were talking about like freestyling before, right?
Yeah.
Like it blows me away how some people can do that, and then people like him that were able to just like, whether it's vape tricks or like skateboarding tricks and stuff like that, just like some people, their brains are able to like, I don't know, just like do things that muscle memory, all these sort of things, you know. But with you making your music, that's more of like a mental exercise, right?
Yeah.
And then like with chess is obviously more like a mental
Definitely.
exercise. Moving the pieces isn't that coordination involved.
Get it in the right square.
I've never really skateboarded either. I think I'd be afraid to, unless I like lost weight or something. Because I think right now I would be afraid to skateboard, and I think the skateboard would be more afraid of me. I am a bit, but it's kind of crazy that skateboarding has lasted so long. Like it became big, I guess, like in maybe the 80s or something.
Yeah.
You know? And then it's still a thing, and it's still popular.
Huge.
It's still, there's something about it. There must be something about it, even though I've never
I think
experienced
it's just
it.
the whole their whole vibe. I mean, it's just like when you find something that you enjoy doing and something that gives you that feeling of feeling free, where like just out there skateboarding, they're probably not really thinking about too much other than like what they're doing in that time, and that helps a lot just with like mental health. I feel like with mental health and like all that with the skateboarding just helps them a ton. Obviously you can still go in those downward spirals, but it's just another outlet of that stress relief and the release of your energy into the world.
Yeah. And before you had your music making, what was it that did that for you?
Riding bikes and smoking weed with the homies.
Yeah.
I've always kind of been into art, but yeah, I didn't really have too much of a life goal until obviously I want to get into like real estate and all that good stuff and all the stuff that helps you elevate and growth in life, but never really any life goal until I started making music like seriously like 4 years ago. It wasn't still nothing serious, just like having fun, but more motivated. That's what I want to do with my life. I don't know, I just feel like that's the thing I enjoy the most. And that before, it was just like riding bikes with my friends. We did a lot of acid when I was younger, a lot of mushrooms, just going crazy. We do a lot of all kinds of different activities. I also always enjoyed snowboarding since I was like 9 years old. So.
Snowboarding. So you've kind of transitioned in a sense from like that physical activity to, I'm not saying that you don't get physical activity, but from that to more of like the making music, which is less physical, obviously. Right?
Yeah, most definitely.
It's kind of crazy if you think about it. How, like, cause some people, they think best if they're out there running, just going for a jog.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that totally makes sense. Your brain gets like the natural high, the endorphins, and everything else, and just look at the world differently, or just like people who, because I've known like various long distance runners over the years and stuff, and it seems like it's pretty uniform that like if they're mad about something, they go out for a long run, by the time they get back they don't even remember really what they were mad about.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because like they just are looking at it like a totally different, bigger perspective on everything. So, okay, what is next for you with like your music, with like
music? Probably drop this song, Let's Get Weird, and real weird on this one. I'll probably drop it in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I just made the cover art for it the other day.
Do you have a name for it yet?
Yeah, Let's Get Weird.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's get weird. Because when you were saying that it was like really weird or whatever, I was thinking like, yeah, it's like some of your music is really weird, like in a good way. Obviously, like all of your music is kind of, but like in that unique, beautiful sense where there's this one sound that you like to use that I described it earlier as kind of like a squishy kind of thing.
Yeah, the watery kind of deal.
Yeah. Like, did you just come across that one day?
Yeah, just experimenting, and also just like I like the wetter sounds. Just like the wetter it gets, the more I like it.
Very nice. Yeah.
My inspiration comes from like Liquid Stranger type of deal, and like LS Dream and people like that. More like the weird kind of music.
Are there any local artists that you really like have influenced you, or that you
not too
It
many
kinda
that
put you
have
on the spot.
influenced me.
Yeah.
There's a ton of local artists that do inspire me every day. I mean, that are out here absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of friends that are producing. I wouldn't say we're like the closest of friends, but for sure, like they're out here killing it, and same kind of outlook and views, so we relate a lot.
Kind of bonded over the similar views, and then also over like the music, because you can relate to the experience of making the music, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
And then it's like you were saying earlier about how, like, when you go to a rave or something now, and you probably feel like you can relate more to
Most definitely.
the like DJ and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where, man, that's so cool, because if you hadn't like they say, you can't judge someone unless you've like walked a mile in their shoes, you know?
Yeah.
And it's so true, because like how, like we were talking before about like I think we briefly mentioned maybe like depression and anxiety or something like that or whatever. And, that's such an inward thing that people struggle with, that a lot of times people don't realize that other people are struggling with it, or if people haven't struggled with that, it doesn't make sense to them.
Yeah.
They're like, well, it's just easy. You just, you just go about life.
Just be happy.
Just set it aside. Yeah. Just be happy or whatever, And so it's so sad whenever like you hear someone's like committed suicide or something like that, and it's just like, you always think what you could have done, or if you could have been there, or if you could have, you know what I mean? And I'm not bringing that up to talk about suicide, but I'm bringing that up because that's like the ultimate example of like, you never really know what because someone could look totally happy on the outside, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But they might just be playing a role.
I feel like, I mean, it's like proven that the people who seem the happiest are actually some of the people that are going through the most in their head, and so they trying to make other people feel happy around them. And that's a huge thing, I would say.
True. That's true. So you'll be dropping this.
Let's get weird.
And then just onward and upward from there, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't really have too many plans. I'm kind of just having fun with it. I'm gonna probably start sending my stuff out to some labels and stuff, see what they think, try and get some more growth in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going with the flow right now. Nothing.
Perfect.
I feel like I'm not at that level personally to want to even. I mean, obviously, I want growth and keep growing, but I'm not ready to like start in my whole music career. I got a lot of musically growing to do, and I feel like just got to keep grinding on it.
Well, I mean, you've come a long way, though. Let me just say that.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're humble and stuff, but let me just say, like, your music is so freaking fun to listen to. Like, everyone needs to look up ODIAX, and I'll drop a link to. You have like a link tree or something like that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Send that to me, and I'll put that in the video description. So everyone that's watching this, check out that link in the video description. Unless we forget to do it, and then they'll go down there. They're like, "What? They said there would be a link here."
No, I'll make sure to send it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Anything else you want to say? Anyone you want to shout out to? Anything at all? Any thoughts for the world?
Just want to say, y'all should stay beautiful, stay grinding, keep that head up high, keep doing that thing.
Hey,
you guys can achieve anything.
Absolutely. You heard it from the man, ODIAX himself. All right, peace out.
Oh yeah.